Time for another award-winning mailbag edition of NFL Daily by Jet Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we will answer your questions. This comes from our live show where we interact with the chat. They super chat us, use the hashtag NFL to get on the mailbag. So let's go ahead and get started with our first question from Tony. What's the next step for Kansas City? Well, the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, in case you've been living under a rock. And I got to tell you, I really like what Brett Veach and Andy Reid have done with this Kansas City team. You have your franchise quarterback, and they cracked the code of some sorts. Remember, for the longest time, you couldn't have a high-paid quarterback and compete for Super Bowls. And I know people point to Tom Brady. Remember, Tom Brady took pay cuts throughout his career to be able to compete at other positions. And so, with that said, the Chiefs are likely going to lose Juju this offseason. And Juju was a decent pickup. But you still haven't really replaced Tyreek Hill. They worked around it this year, but they didn't really have a full-time replacement for him. So I think for the Chiefs, they're going to focus on that wide receiver position. And also remember the offensive line. Are you going to be able to keep Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley? Those are big question marks as well. Chiefs are in good position for a long time, but they have to keep on keeping up, as far as I'm concerned, for their future. Richard writes, here is an item. If the Bears trade the number one pick to the Texans before the draft, then on draft night they trade down again if they take Texans 2 pick and get more picks. I want to rule it out, Richard. You look at that possibility here, and the Texans, even moving up one spot, are going to have to give up a significant amount. Because if you're the Bears, you can threaten them all day and say, you know what, we're going to take Bryce Young if you don't make this trade. If you don't move up, we'll do that. And then you force their hand and you force them to move up. And then other teams, I think, are still desperate for even the other quarterbacks, the C.J. Strouds, the Will Levises of the world, that, yeah, you could potentially move back even further. I would say this, though. The Bears, yes, they should try to maximize and get more draft capital. Absolutely they should. But think about this, though. Those guys that we talk about, the Will Andersons, the Jalen Carters, the Bryce Youngs of the world, they're top 5 talents for a reason. If you're the Bears, you need franchise-changing players. What I would warn you is don't go too far back as far as trading out. I would try to do what I can to at least keep one pick in the top 5. Ernest the Ghost writes, where will Aaron Rodgers end up, and what should he do? Well, it sounds like the Packers are in rebuild mode, and that the Packers are in a state of mind where they're looking to start over. The Packers are closer to the bottom than they are the top at this point in time. And so, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, you're entering your 40s, you don't have time to waste right now. I mean, you're trying to compete at a high level for Super Bowls and MVPs. And to me, the situation out there of teams that need a quarterback that are built for now, I think what makes the most sense is the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not a big fan of their head coach, Josh McDaniels, but you have Devontae Adams there. You have Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. That offense is ready to compete for the playoffs right now, and the familiarity with Devontae Adams, not to mention I love Las Vegas. Las Vegas would be a great city to live. I think Aaron Rodgers, that's his best bet if he finds himself with the Raiders. What team should Aaron Rodgers play for in 2023? Should he go back to Green Bay? Should he go to Las Vegas? The Jets? The Saints? Where do you think Aaron Rodgers should go? If you were Aaron Rodgers, where would you want to play in 2023? Let us know in the comment section below. It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it and get your votes in. Tell us where you think Aaron should go in 2023. Sam writes in, do you think this is the year the Falcons need a big year or time to move on from the head coach? I was very impressed with Arthur Smith, the job that he did this past year. I'll say this. The Falcons roster has a long ways to go to get to where they want to go. So I think realistically, though, you look at that division, the NFC South, with the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Bucs. those teams have so many question marks on their rosters. There's no reason for any of them not to be able to compete to win the division title. And so if you're the Falcons, I'm not looking to fire Arthur Smith. I'm not going to put that on Arthur Smith right now. But what I would say is there should be an expectation for the Atlanta Falcons to win that division and make the postseason. I don't think that's asking too much. Squads wants to know. Say Quads, Barkley. If you're the Bears, should you spend your money on improving the D-line or the O-line? Both, quite frankly. You need it all. I don't think you have to choose one or the other here. I think you would gladly take both and do what you can to better both sides of the football because you need help on both sides as far as I'm concerned. So squads, Barkley, yes. I would say both sides. We are offering a shirt combo for your favorite team. We got you covered, whether you're a Raiders fan, a Chiefs fan, a Titans fan, or a number of teams. If you want the long sleeve because it's still a little cold in some places, or the short sleeve because summertime is going to be here before we know it, we got you covered either way. You can get both these shirts on sale now while supplies last. Chatsports.com/NFL combo. Every team you could think of, we got a shirt combo for. This is for you, my friends. Get yours now. Go check them out. See what looks good, what you want to wear to support your favorite team. Maybe it's a present for a loved one, whatever it may be, for their favorite team. We got you covered with a deal that you're not going to find anywhere else. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/NFL combo. Tom wants to know, how would you rank the available quarterbacks this offseason? Okay, so let's break this down. You got Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Am I missing anybody? I think I got them all there. I would rank Aaron number one. He's the one with the Super Bowl ring with the most MVPs. I know he's the oldest of that bunch, but I think Aaron is the most ready to lead a team to win a Super Bowl title of any of those right there. Lamar, I would have number two. And although I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, I think he is the most explosive player in the National Football League when he's healthy. You'd have to change your system more than likely to adapt to Lamar Jackson. And even at, what is this, year 5, year 6 for Lamar, there's still questions about his passing ability and his health. So Lamar would be number two. Number three for me would probably be Derek Carr, although I'm not a huge Derek Carr fan. I don't really want to pay the money for Derek Carr, but honestly, after that, I'd probably go Baker, and then I'd go Jimmy G. That'd be my top 5 as far as quarterback options goes this offseason. It's interesting because we usually aren't talking about this good of quality quarterbacks being available to be on the market of some sorts, whether it be free agency or trades. That's probably how I'd rank that. Pick a quarterback. Let's say you can trade for one to make your team better. You can have Aaron Rodgers or you can have Lamar Jackson. Who are you picking to trade for to lead your team right now? Are you going with Aaron Rodgers or are you going with Lamar Jackson? If you're rolling with Rodgers, type AR for Aaron Rodgers. If you're rolling with Lamar Jackson, type LJ for Lamar Jackson. Let us know in the comment section which quarterback you'd rather have right now. Dark Knight writes, could Eric Bieniemy take over for Ron Rivera as head coach of the Commanders? So this is an interesting idea. I was talking with Jeffrey Cooperstein today about this, actually, in the office. Happy birthday to Coop, by the way. Everybody tell Coop happy birthday. We'll pass those messages along to Coop. And here's an interesting scenario here. Hear me out on this, okay? There's a chance that if things aren't going well for the Commanders, that Ron Rivera gets fired mid-season. Could happen. Then who's going to take over to be the interim head coach? Eric Bieniemy. And so if you're Eric Bieniemy, think about this, okay? The Commanders have been a dumpster fire. They've had their fair share of issues over the years. Eric Bieniemy obviously wants to be a head coach. You don't leave the Kansas City Chiefs organization to go be somewhere as an OC just for, the possibility. You don't do that unless your intentions clearly are to be a head coach. That's a step down to go to the Commanders, quite frankly. And so with that said, Eric Bieniemy might be thinking this 2 steps forward of, okay, this either the offense improves and I show myself that I can be a competent coordinator and run an offense and I make myself more likely to get a head coaching job. Or things don't go well, Ron Rivera gets kicked to the curb, and I get a shot to be an interim head coach, and then all of a sudden he gets a chance to actually prove himself as a head coach. Yes, I think that is a possibility potentially. Next question, how concerned are you of Brock Purdy being delayed on surgery on his UCL tear? I'm concerned to an extent. You think about this team there with the San Francisco 49ers. You still have Trey Lance. Jimmy G's about to enter free agency. What it does is this. I think there was a consensus among a certain group of people about a month or two ago that Brock was going to be the guy and you'd move on from Trey Lance. All of a sudden, you're not in such a hurry to move on from Trey Lance. Now, you see when Brock can get back there, and you have an open competition. See what you have between these two. It's better to have options, to have multiple things to try out. To me, I would say this. If I'm the 49ers, I'm not so concerned because you have Trey Lance there. Now, I'm concerned a little bit for Brock that it's taking a little bit longer because I like Brock Purdy, but from the Niners, I'm just being patient. Let's just see what happens. You want more NFL coverage? I have the channel for you. It's called Chat Sports, NFL Daily. We're covering the NFL each and every day here on the channel with the latest happenings on your favorite teams. We're counting down to the draft, free agency, trades, and more. It's all in one place. This is the channel for you. Subscribe now. It does not cost you a thing. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment as we cover the NFL like no one else does. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Dollar writes, who do you like better in this draft, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? Very good question. I'll say this. I like those two better than anyone else in this draft by far. I think after Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, it is a drop-off to Will Levis and then a drop-off to Anthony Richardson. With that said, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, I've gone back and forth between these two. And I like Bryce Young a little bit more than I do C.J. Stroud. And this is not a knock on C.J. Stroud, but think about Bryce Young. The way that he willed his team to victory. The fact that they were in contention to win some of the big games because of what he did, of him laying everything out in the line. The losses they had to Tennessee and to LSU this year were not because of Bryce Young. They were in those games because of Bryce Young. So for me, that's why I like Bryce Young a little bit more of what he gets out of his team, pushes them as far as they can go. C.J. Stroud can't quite say the same about. Michigan, they looked like a deer in headlights in that game. The game against Georgia, he looked fantastic. I wouldn't say he's why they lost that game, but, you look back even the year prior, the Michigan game, he didn't play great either. And so Bryce Young, I see him playing his best, laying it out in the line in some of those big moments. Haven't always seen that out of C.J. Stroud. Which one would you take? Which quarterback do you like better, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? Type BY for Bryce Young. Type CS for C.J. Stroud. Let us know in the comments section below. Last one from Michael. Michael writes in, Lamar to the Commanders. That'd be interesting to see him stay within the DMV to go from the Ravens to the Commanders. I'm sure that would piss some people off, some Ravens fans, if he were to go a little bit south to the Washington Commanders. But nonetheless, it's certainly possible. I wouldn't rule it out. Commanders need a quarterback. They got a new quarterback guru coming in, and Eric Bieniemy is their OC. It's possible. I still think he stays in Baltimore, but we'll see how it all plays out. Now a $5 super chat from Not Webb's World 1 says, I called Jordan Love a buddy because if they felt like he was a star, they don't extend Aaron and Devontae doesn't leave. Am I wrong? I think that's meant to be bust. Not buddy, but I guess he could be a buddy too. I'll say this. Thanks for the super chat, not Web World. And he did clarify in the comments, bust. I think it's too early to call him a bust yet. You're on to something there, though. If the Packers were sold on Jordan Love, and they've seen him more than anybody, practices for years, okay? If they liked what they saw, then yes, it would have been easy to move on from Aaron Rodgers, capitalize in draft capital, and start over. But they haven't moved on. So, yes, you're on to something there, but I wouldn't quite go to the extent of calling him a bust just yet.